We talking about sports, get ball.
What it do, baby? Yeah.
What it do, you number one podcast listeners? You have tuned in to a brand new episode of the number one podcast in your headphones, Creme Brulee. Back better than ever. I'm joined once again by my cousin Roshan Bot. Welcome back, Rosh.
Back in this bitch like I never left. Thanks for having me.
Back in it. And, you know, I felt like I usually try to give you like a little break between episodes, but as we all know, the Astros won, so I figured it's time to get ignorant, and there's no better person to have on than you.
Did that happen already?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, all right.
Yeah, you know, they're actually...
Let's get it.
You know, I think the Yankees... Oh, they're sitting at home. That's right. I got it. All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are the hoes mad?
They're indeed mad.
I believe they are. Very, very mad. Okay, but before we begin... A word from our sponsor. This episode of the Creme Brulee podcast is brought to you by Urban Exterior Co. In addition to all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, Urban Exterior offers roof rejuvenation. They use a bio-based, environmentally friendly formula to extend the life of your shingles. The best part, it's about 15% of the cost of replacing your roof, and you don't have to worry about any supply chain delays for materials. Visit urbanexteriorco.com for more information. That's urbanexteriorco.com. The number one roofing, siding, gutter, and now roof rejuvenation company for the number one podcast in your headphones. Don't ever play yourselves.
Yes, sir.
You already know. All right, Roche. So last episode, I really liked how we did things. So I who knows if it's going to continue further, but I kind of like where we took Yeah Fam or Not and combining it with word association. So if it's cool with you, we're going to keep it rolling that way.
Yeah, I was a Yeah Fam to that.
Yeah, me too. Touche. Okay. You knew we had to cover this. I mean, it's been everywhere now and been talked about, but rightfully so. Jon Gruden resigned as Raiders head coach. The resignation came shortly after the New York Times published a piece and produced a report that Gruden used misogynistic, anti-gay, sexist, you name it, in numerous emails during a 7-year period. The report included these 10-year-old emails from Gruden in his personal email account. They surfaced initially with a racist comment about NFL Players Association Executive Director DeMaurice Smith, as well as a vulgar criticism of NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. So it initially led with that news. He coached their game after that news broke, indicated that he wasn't going to be answering questions about that anymore. He doesn't have a racist bone in his body, all that ridiculous stuff. Well, after that, the Times produced more emails. Hence the description of beyond racist. He used anti-gay rhetoric. He was objectifying women on these emails. They were sent to then president of Washington football team, Bruce Allen, who's a personal friend of his. This was a 7-year period that ended in 2018. He would send personal emails, he being Gruden, while he's a Monday Night Football analyst for ESPN. All that being said, he then resigned. Mark Davis of the Raiders accepted his resignation. Special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia is assuming head coaching duties. No other changes have been made to the front office or anything. Mike Mayock is still their general manager, all that stuff. Worth noting, this was a result of email investigation done into Washington football team. As you may or may not remember, you number one podcast listeners, their owner, Dan Snyder, was removed in like a predominant role in the franchise. They switched names, all that. They found a whole bunch of things wrong with the culture in Washington. And he is no longer, so they say, he's no longer running the show there while his wife assumes those duties. But this was a look into some of those emails. So that's worth noting, that there potentially could be, and very likely is, more to come with that. Not just Jon Gruden being an insensitive piece of shit. Okay, so all that, wanted to give a little background and kind of an outline. There's a lot to cover here with Gruden, but we wanted to do Yeah fam or not with the Rotor Association. Obviously, neither one of us is a yeah fam to Jon Gruden, but I am a yeah fam to him being removed as coach. There's absolutely no place for it. But my word association is microcosm. And I won't expand on too many of my words, but I did want to add a little here because I think the subject warrants it. And I think Jon Gruden warrants not having a job or any place in the NFL with that sort of ridiculous thought, feeling, all that stuff. My word is microcosm because I think the sad part about Gruden's emails is that he is most definitely a microcosm of the NFL power structure where this type of culture is commonplace. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we're likely going to talk about it later, but the NFL does need to uncover these emails into the investigation of the Washington football team, and I think everybody's wondering what they're protecting here because I really do think this is the tip of the iceberg. I have trouble believing that an investigation in the Washington football team only yielded a firing of a coach in Las Vegas. So I'll leave it at that and get your take on this, Rosh.
My word's going to go ahead and I'm going to go with performative, just like everything else in the NFL and just major sports in general. You can write end racism on the helmets and the end zones and shit all you want, but until the people that enable the Jon Grudens of the world are gone, does it really make a difference? I mean, all this shit is just for to save your own ass in that heat of that moment, and then in about 2 weeks, no one's gonna remember any of this shit. It's like the Bucks took Jon Gruden out of the Ring of Honor, but they currently employ Antonio Brown, who has a domestic violence case against him. So it's just like, who fucking cares, man? Just everyone needs to shut the fuck up. And the more of these guys that get uncovered and blown out of the water and lose their jobs, because that's honestly what they should do. Dude, if me and you or anybody said anything like what I saw in Jon Gruden's emails, we wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't have wives and kids. Come on, bro. Enough of this shit. Get them all out, dude.
This man was preaching one thing, a whole team-based, inclusive atmosphere, and yet he's using language like this. What fucking hypocrisy. It's another bonus word for this. You and I aren't going to say anything that hasn't already been said. He got what he deserved, but I think you and I don't want to speak for you, but I think we both realize there's more to this coming, I would think.
And by the way, I love the whole racist bone in my body thing, because the only people that ever have to say that are the people that actually have racist bones in their body. So
100%.
I've literally never used that phrase in my entire life.
Yeah, imagine the privilege it takes to be when those initial reports came out and he still coached the Raiders somehow.
Insane.
And imagine the audacity and the privilege it takes to be like, oh, I'm not answering questions about that anymore. And then that's just that.
Yeah. And
if nothing else came out, he'd still have a job in Las Vegas.
Yeah. And he's making $10 million a year? He's making some crazy money, isn't he?
Yeah.
Insane. Fuck off.
And the owner insinuated in his press conference, he basically was dismissive and said, ask the NFL, more or less implying that the NFL made him remove Gruden.
Right.
So, yeah, you're right. Performative is a perfect word because this isn't addressing the root cause. This is a whole culture issue in the NFL. And they just, you're right. They put fucking end racism in the end zone, and that's it.
Congrats, guys. Racism is over.
It's like putting a black box on your Instagram one day.
Yeah. Congrats. Racism is over. This guy scored a touchdown. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. And he has end racism on the plate of his helmet.
Come on, man.
Don't worry, guys. Get out of here. Okay.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Let's move over to the NBA. Let's switch gears. Okay, so you were nice enough to bless us with a brand new nickname, and we have to cover him. Number one podcast listeners knew is coming. In addition to the ignorance that most definitely is going to happen regarding the Astros, you knew we had to cover this guy, Kyrie Irving. It's not even you played yourself yet. This is more of a news thing. The Nets GM Sean Marks, regarding Mr. Kyrie Irving, said the following, quote, Given the evolving nature of the situation and after thorough deliberation, we have decided Kyrie Irving will not play or practice with the team until he is eligible to be a full participant. Kyrie has made a personal choice, and we respect his individual right to choose. Currently, the choice restricts his ability to be a full-time member of the team, and we will not permit any member of our team to participate with part-time availability. He goes on further, but that's the end of the quote. I didn't want to read the whole thing. So, I wanted to get your yeah, fam or nod to the Nets kind of drawing a line in the sand here. As we talked about before, and now Kyrie has admitted that he is unvaccinated. He was not going to be permitted to do home games in New York due to a mandate that requires you to be at least one shot into the vaccine in order to basically participate in indoor sports, which the Barclays Center is included in. So it's basically going to be only away games. The Nets decided, no, we're not comfortable with that. Until he's eligible to be a full participant, we're not letting him. So just a little background. We covered it last episode, and everybody's kind of aware of that. But want to get your yeah, fam or nod to the Nets making this move, and then give me your word association.
Yeah, fam, for sure. What job do you know you get hired full-time and you can work half the time?
Yep.
Not even half the time in Kyrie's case, because not only does New York have that mandate, California does. So anytime they play the Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, Sacramento, he can't play any of those fucking games. He can't play the Knicks. So what?
In addition to the couple games against the Knicks. Yeah.
So what? We're talking, 40 games maybe? If that? Fuck off, man. Seriously, super fuck off.
Yep.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Anyway, my word association is free, because the vaccine is free, and you are, throwing away a lot of money, and not to dwindle this down to just money issue, but I mean, come on, dude. Like, you have a job. If they have a mandate, that's what it is, man. And the vaccine's free. Go get it, man. I can't. If my job was like I had to get the vaccine and I didn't have it, I'd probably go get the vaccine. So it's really simple.
I'm a yeah fam to this, obviously. I'm glad the Nets are doing that, and rightfully so. There's absolutely, it makes total sense. Why would you have him here if he's not going to be able to compete with your team and go for a championship? My word for this is confused, because the more I hear from him, the more confused I get. And you already know, contrarian without a cause is another phrase that comes to mind. So I'm going to leave it at that. I know we're going to cover it a little bit more. We have You Played Yourself coming, but I can get fired up about this. And there's more to discuss here, but I'll just leave it there. Okay. Let's go over to baseball, because we are in the thick of it. We're heading into the championship series in the AL and the NL. Wanted to get your take on what's going on. A little word association. I have a feeling it's going to get real ignorant here in a second. But the MLB playoffs over in the American League, the red hot Boston Red Sox beat the best team in the AL in the Tampa Bay Rays. They will face our very own Houston Astros, baby. You already know. Bang, bang, buzz, buzz. Sound that hose mad, baby. You already know. They're facing the Stros. Both of the teams won their series 3-1. Houston is the higher seed, so they'll have home field advantage for the 7-game series. Obviously, we just came off a division series. There were 5 games. We'll now switch over to 7 games. Over in the NL, the Braves made it past the Brewers in the NLDS, and the Giants-Dodgers, they have in Game 5. We're going to cover a little bit more. I'm going to cover a little bit more into that in You Played Yourself, but the Braves will face the Dodgers. The Braves wanted 4 games, and obviously the Giants-Dodgers 5 games. No surprise there. The 2 best teams in the NL went that far. So, obviously, you already know we're both yeah fam, especially because the Stros are still in it, and especially because the Yankees aren't.
What it do,
baby? My word association is going to be maybe a hyphenated a phrase, and that is hose mad. Fucking sound it, baby.
I'm really
what
upset,
you got for
bro.
me, man?
I'm really upset because that was my exact phrase. So I'm a little pissed.
Sound it again, baby.
I'm a little pissed. I'm mad you didn't make me go first.
Okay, I'll change mine to bang bang.
Yeah, I mean, nobody, dude. I read a lot of stuff because I'm bored sometimes, and nobody wanted the Astros to win. Everyone just thought the White Sox would run us over for some reason. Like they have not been watching the number one offense in the league somehow. Yep. But just quick tidbits about each team. Red Sox, man, amazing run. That I can't believe they took down the Rays like that. That was really impressive, and that actually makes me scared to face them. Braves, super shout out. The Brewers probably had the best starting rotation in the league in the playoffs, and they just completely handled that. Like, what the hell happened?
That's the beautiful thing about baseball. Despite there not being a cap, it's like literally anyone can be in the thick of it when it comes into October.
October is great, man.
Yeah, Famer Now wrapped up. Let's move on to everybody's favorite section, baby. Let's sound that you played yourself intro, baby.
Here we go.
I'm petty as hell. And I'm super petty. Here we Petty Le Pew. Go.
All right, you already know what time it is, you number one podcast listeners. It is time for You Played Yourself. We got a doozy for you here. As promised, I told you we would circle back to it. We talked a little bit about it in relation to the Jon Gruden resignation. But first up on You Played Yourself, it's the NFL and that shield that they love to talk about so much.
You played yourself.
So the NFL Players Association said this past Tuesday, which would be October 12th, that it plans to request that the NFL release the remainder of the 650,000 emails reviewed as part of the investigation into workplace misconduct with the Washington football team. This came from NFLPA lawyers Lisa Banks and Deborah Katz in a statement. Quote, "It is truly outrageous that after the NFL's 10-month investigation involving hundreds of witnesses and 650,000 documents related to the longtime culture of harassment and abuse at the Washington football team, the only person to be held accountable and lose their job is the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. If the NFL felt it was appropriate to release these offensive emails from Jon Gruden, which it obtained during its investigation into the Washington football team, it must also release the findings related to the actual target of that investigation. Our clients and the public at large deserve transparency and accountability. If not, the NFL and Roger Goodell must explain why they appear intent on protecting the Washington football team and owner Dan Snyder at all costs." End quote. You number one podcast listeners, who is the NFL protecting here? I am absolutely the last person away from a conspiracy theory. This isn't even that. They are clearly protecting someone if, like I said earlier, the only thing that came from this investigation in the Washington football team was the firing of a Las Vegas Raiders coach. There is more to the story. There is something deeper here. And it is very alarming that we see this hypocrisy we talked about earlier. You have End Racism. They do all this philanthropic work. They talk about their champions of change in the league. They promote Walter Payton Man of the Year. All this stuff that they try to have, this inclusion culture. They have the Rooney Rule, all this stuff. And all we have so far is some news about Jon Gruden. And this was an investigation into the Washington football team. There's more to the story here. And who the hell are we protecting? Your thoughts, Rosh? You got anything to add?
Yeah, none of this was surprising, but I'm kind of glad they're going at them, and I'm also glad these lawyers are women. It kind of puts a different type of fire under the NFL for that.
Yep.
But it also reminds me of this tweet I saw, and I shared it with you this week, and I remember I was like, we could talk about it, but we're not going to go too far deep into it because we could probably have about a 10-episode series on this 100%. Topic alone. But it's by Twitter user Rodimus Prime at RODIMUS Prime. And he's a comedian or something, but it said, this Gruden story is why the NFL just had to pay Kaepernick rather than go through all them subpoenas. And I've never seen anything more accurate because when they paid Kaepernick, I was like, yeah, I'd fucking pay him too. Because if he's over here talking about they blackballed me and this and that, and this is basically a congregation of billionaire owners who just then were like, no, let's keep this guy out of a job. He's ruffling too many feathers. I mean, it's obvious why he got paid, and apparently it was a very handsome settlement that got him to stop trying to get back into the league. So, I mean, it really just makes you think, and not one single bit of it is surprising. All these billionaire owners are exactly who the NFL needs to protect, and they're gonna die on their shield or sword or whatever doing that. And I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'd guarantee that at least 25 of the 32 owners are in the same boat. I'd probably take the over on that, and I'd go closer to 32.
Yeah.
It's probably 30 or 31 out of 32. It's insane, and it should not come as a surprise. I mean, they are all
the comfort of those emails between Gruden and Allen. And again, I know they were friends. The comfort of those emails makes you feel like, the culture is exact opposite of what they were portraying it as.
Yeah.
I hope that we find out more. And that lawyer statement encompassed it perfectly. That's why I didn't have too much to add is, they owe it to us. You have all these emails and all this follow-up, and so far all we have is Jon Gruden without a job. That's not enough.
Yeah. I look forward to more people joining the NFL on You Played Yourself when things uncover. So.
Oh, yeah. And they'll find themselves here. You already know that.
No doubt.
Okay, let's go over to the NBA. We covered this last episode. Ben Simmons, you played yourself. Or, so he showed up to camp. Did he play himself? I thought he was prepared to sit out the whole season. I'm going to go ahead and say, he played himself. I put him on here. You didn't even last a game into the season, and you already showed up here tail between your legs. I guess you do miss the money. That Calabasas lifestyle can't be maintained without getting an NBA check, I'm sure. So you played yourself close to Ben Simmons. He was prepared to go to any other team in the NBA, and all of a sudden he's in Philly at camp. So there you are. Nobody's safe.
I'm pretty much with you. That was a lot of chatter, a lot of drama, a lot of tweets and headlines to give in this early. Like I said in the last episode, he could really just solve all this with a jumper. Philly's a pretty great team. If he's knocking down threes for them and defending at his high of a clip and controlling the ball, he's essentially a more athletic Klay Thompson at this point. They're going to win games, and they're going to win big games. They probably would have been in at least the conference finals, maybe the finals last year. So I
mean, they were the top seed in the East
all year.
I mean, take that for what it's worth, but they totally shit the bed in the playoffs. So you played yourself, goes to Ben Simmons.
No doubt.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This one might be controversial to a lot of people. It's been a subject of some debate, especially talking heads in the media. You played yourself, goes to Baker Mayfield. Listen, Cleveland, I want you guys to do well. You guys have not had the benefit of success, especially in football. So you guys are way overdue, right? I'm telling you, Baker ain't it, Cleveland. This man is not it until he can go and win it for his team in the fourth quarter. So they played the Chargers. This game's been talked about ad nauseum, but the Browns were up 42-41, less than 3 minutes left. And I know Kevin Stefanski regrets the call, but there's a reason he made it. They had under 3 minutes left with the ball, 3rd and 10. They knew full well their defense wasn't stopping shit all game. They ran a draw on 3rd and 10 instead of putting the ball in Baker Mayfield's hands, knowing full well that they would need to punt. Then they followed it up after the Chargers did score, obviously, because who wasn't scoring in that game? Defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Their final drive was trash, too. To back this up, not just anecdotal, this was from Hembo, who's the statistician on shows like Get Up on ESPN, that sort of thing. You can find him at Paul Hembo on Twitter. He's a very interesting follow. Highly recommend it. Anyway, I've used him before on this section. He said the following. Baker Mayfield has a QB rating of 19.7 in the second half of games within one possession. That's good for 31st in the NFL. So, just to recap, this Browns team, they were down 47-42. They got the ball back with about a minute and a half left with a chance to win it when nobody had stopped anything. No defensive stops in sight all game, and they settled for that Hail Mary. So they followed up their second to last drive, settling for a draw with a shitty drive to try to go win the game. Beyond that, The Browns have lost both games they've been underdogs. And in both games, they had chances to win at the end. Another notch in the belt of Baker ain't it. So those 2 losses, obviously, they had no reason losing them. They had just as much of a chance to win. We're against the Chiefs in week 1, and the latest one was to the Chargers. They ended with, in the Chiefs game, Baker throwing a pick, getting sacked basically by his shoestrings, and the other one was the aforementioned attempt at a Hail Mary. So, you played yourself. We knew this going into the season. The Browns were going to go as Baker goes. You're not beating teams that you are going to see in January. The 2 times you faced relevant teams that you're trying to get to the mountaintop over, you've lost. He's not getting it done in close games. He's not getting it done in second halves. You need your quarterback to do it at least once or twice if you're going to make any sort of run, because the Browns aren't blowing anybody out with their recipe of running the ball and clearly their occasional lack of defense, despite having a very, very good roster. Perhaps maybe one of the best rosters in the NFL. Not getting it done.
Yeah.
You got to beat these teams. Got to beat them in January in order to be playing in February. And it's not outrageous to say that's the Browns' goal at this point. They have too good of a roster, and Baker isn't getting it done. You got anything about Baker?
Yeah, man. I pretty much agree with everything. I don't watch enough of Cleveland Browns football to know, so I'm kind of glad you included this section because my input is strictly to add a special you played yourself to Cleveland as a team for dragging Austin Eckler into the end zone, because I lost my fantasy matchup by less than 1 point for the second time this year, by the way. And it was because of that play.
Yeah, that happened to you.
Yeah. So I was
like, no, you have that backwards. That was actually a heads-up play by their defense. I was like, you should be playing yourself to Austin Eckler. This dude is just standing there and let the Browns defense drag him in so they get the ball back.
I know. Fantasy-wise, that was amazing. Like, that's everything you want if you're an Eckler owner. But, goddamn, I was like, come on, man. And anyway, but I agree with everything you say about Baker. He did this last year, and he just can't sling it when it matters. And the real ones in this league separate themselves in January when they do that. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, even fucking Tom Brady. These guys have to sling it when they get to the playoffs, because it's going to get down to a fourth quarter drive almost always, because every team is good in the playoffs typically. There's typically not any blowouts. They're going to be close games, and if they're close and he can't get it done, Cleveland should be probably pretty worried.
He's fitting the exact narrative we've been talking about for years. It's like,
I think we're going on 2 years
take
on
a
it.
step, and he's not taking it when you need it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I promised this earlier. I want to do a quick you played yourself to the MLB playoff format. I think this goes for a lot of playoffs, by the way. I think you need to reseed teams based on record.
Yes, we just need to pull it.
I'm fine with keeping it the same format, like, division winners win. In the MLB, the 3 division winners on each side win, and you have 2 wild card winners. But make it so that the actual top teams get an advantage.
Yes.
There's no reason that the Giants and Dodgers, who combined for 213 wins, should be playing in a 5-game NLDS series.
No.
I say, the Dodgers get in as a wild card team, fine. Same thing. Division winners still get in, but, reseed these teams. What would be better than Giants and Dodgers in the NLDS? How about them in the NLCS?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. So, that's my you played yourself for this. Do you agree with me?
Yeah. That series would be going 7 games. Like, that's a lot of money left on the table.
It'd be phenomenal.
That's a lot of, and it's a lot of money left on the table by 2 great teams that everyone, like, I've watched pretty much every game in that series, and I severely hate one of those teams. So there you go.
Could you imagine if the Dodgers lost that wild card, that 1 game?
That would have been a joke.
Win or go home wild card game. Yeah. That would have been ridiculous.
Don't get me wrong.
That should be happening.
I would have laughed, but that would have been shit for this.
I would have laughed my ass off, 100%. I think more than anything, this is more about like a faceless team, because who gives a shit about the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Amen. Okay. I did want to acknowledge something on you played yourself here from last episode. We do have to acknowledge that Andrew Maple Joe Rogan Wiggins did in fact get vaccinated. We roasted him last episode, and since then he's been vaccinated. He very much pulled a Ben Simmons and said, "Oh, those checks are not going to clear, so
Psych.
I better get my ass there." Yeah, so kind of you played yourself, like he didn't realize it sooner, but whatever it takes, honestly. So we want to, like, I guess reverse you played yourself. We want to give him a shout out.
Yeah, good for him, man.
You know, Maple Joe did his thing.
Yeah, this is the official you played yourself rescinding request. And so he filed it with the congregation.
Yeah, it won't happen often, I can tell you this, because you played yourself usually is cemented, and I pretend like it didn't happen if I end up being wrong, but this is one we want to promote people doing the right thing, so, and a vaccination is.
Right.
So don't get used to it, you number one podcast listeners, but...
Look at us, man. This is so mature. This is so much growth.
Yeah, look at this. We're making a lot of progress here. It's not even like, this isn't even New Year's.
I know.
Out here
Amazing.
making resolutions in October.
Proud of us.
Shout out us. Yeah, go us. Okay. We promise. I'm fulfilling promises here. I've teased this stuff, but on you played yourself. We have to have him on here. Kyrie Irving. I think he's gonna be. It's clear he's probably gonna be a very common figure on this.
He might as well build. Build out his own wing in this building.
This report came out, and since then, Kyrie Irving did an Instagram live, essentially like confirming the report from The Athletic. So, The Athletic released a piece saying multiple sources with direct knowledge of Irving's decision to not get vaccinated told the aforementioned Athletic that Irving is not anti-vaccine, and that his stance is actually that he is upset people are losing their jobs due to vaccine mandate. Irving is challenging a perceived control of society and people's livelihood. Kyrie wants to be a voice for the voiceless. I wanted to add this in as we slowly build this You Played Yourself, and I try to keep my blood pressure in check. So this was from Derek Thompson. He's a writer for The Athletic. Derek said, or tweeted, Kyrie played at Duke University, which has for years had immunization requirements for the flu, Hep B, measles, meningitis, mumps, polio, rubella, and your Tdap or DTaP. He's a part of the Duke Brotherhood, so he's already been vaccinated before and followed vaccine mandates. Just want to point that out here, point out this hypocrisy that he is constantly talking about. So if he's trying to be a voice for the voiceless, where the fuck is his voice? Like, what is he talking about? Like, who's asking him to do this? Which voiceless people are asking him to speak up? And when is he going to say anything of substance? I mean, that's kind of a rhetorical question because the more he opens his fucking mouth, the less he makes sense. So this same dude initially came out on also IG Live saying it was a private matter. Then he had anonymous sources telling stupid-ass reasoning. Uses a term like voice for the voiceless. And then finally, when we haven't heard from you, he jumps on IG Live thinking he wrote out all these points, yet outlines why he wants to do more research, but his manner of presenting those points doesn't allow for people to ask him his reasoning. So he's basically just in a big-ass echo chamber presenting his flawed fucking logic to people who are applauding him just because he's Kyrie Irving. I mean, this dude says he's concerned for those people losing jobs. He uses, at one point in his IG Live said, like, we're coming out of a pandemic. No, dumbass. We're still in a pandemic, first of all. Second of all, he's concerned about people losing jobs. How about the people who've lost their lives to COVID? Like, what are we even talking about? This man just spews unreasoned bullshit, saying he's not comfortable with the research out there yet, and he still has questions, but then doesn't pursue the answer to those questions. Yep. None of what he says makes any sense. And frankly, at this point, it's getting kind of frustrating hearing, like, there's some celebrities and fellow athletes, former athletes, kind of applauding this, like, I don't know what they call it, like some kind of fucking bravery, like he's being this, like, I don't know, figurehead for this
movement,
stupid ass movement that's founded on no logic.
Right.
Like, nothing he's doing is making a statement. All it's proving is that he hasn't done any research that he claims to. and this fake sense of like intelligence he has, this bravado he carries with as if he's smarter than you just because he's being contrarian, is just so fucking out of bounds. And frankly, it's getting frustrating having this expectation that the rest of us have to be patient with someone with this kind of logic. You know, people are constantly saying, oh, people that are unvaccinated aren't going to respond any better if you are being vulgar to them when they're just asking questions. Well, he's not asking fucking questions. He's not pursuing any different points of view. He's telling you to respect his without doing any kind of investigation into other people's. Like, we act like, I'm so confused here. We're acting like these vaccine mandates aren't a benefit to the people getting the vaccine. They're saving your life, and we're acting like they're trying to put something in you that's doing the opposite. And I just can't wrap my head around this idea that this exchange is one-sided. You getting a vaccine mandate, you have all these workplaces offering incentives just to get a vaccine that also saves your life and can help save your life, can help prevent a serious case of COVID. At the very least, if you catch it while vaccinated, the transmission, the spread doesn't last as long. There's all this research. And then we give a platform to someone like Kyrie Irving, who claims he hasn't been able to do enough research, yet doesn't pursue any research. It's so backwards. And we're celebrating him just because he's saying, oh, he has a right to make his own choice for his own body. It doesn't only involve his own body. What can't we get through about this idea that this has to do with the preservation of all of us? We are in this together, and getting vaccinated is part of that journey. I don't understand this. Like, everybody's got to do what's best for them. Yeah, I get that. But there's more at stake here. There is more at stake here. And we're giving this platform to Kyrie, and he claims he's not asking for it, yet he's becoming this major, major distraction of a team that, even beyond all this vaccine talk, this team is looking to make a championship run. This team was built because Kyrie started that journey to Brooklyn.
Yep.
This team came to him in Brooklyn.
Yep.
And even from a basketball standpoint, he's not contributing to a team. So no part of him, he's not doing it for the greater team, which is the greater good, all of us as a society. He's not doing it for his own team, for what he's employed. And all of it, you're telling me, is just because there's a mandate. So just because someone's telling me what to do, I got to go against the grain because I'm somehow smarter. Every one of you is getting this vaccine, so I'm going to prove why I'm fucking smarter than you as Kyrie Irving just because I'm being different. A fucking contrarian without a cause is the best way to describe him. And I don't know what we're doing here.
You also forgot he's also not doing it for one more person, and it's his favorite person, which is his fucking self, because he's putting a lot of money on the table, and now the Nets, as of yesterday, I think Sean Marks came out and was like, we're not offering the extension anymore. Bro, it's $186 motherfucking million. If you don't want it,
he claims he's aware of the consequences. He knows the financial incentives. He emphasized he's not retiring from basketball, all that stuff. Get the fucking shot.
Which I get it.
Get the shot.
I respect him being like, it's not about the money. But, I mean, it's a weird hill to die on, man. Like, this is such a weird hill to die on.
Exactly. What are we talking about here? We're acting like we're asking him to put something in there like he's a test subject.
Yeah.
There's millions of people that have gotten the same vaccine, including all of his teammates and a majority of the entire league he's representing. Who are you being a voice to? I don't understand. Who came to you and said, I need you to be the voice for this movement, that this somehow fake movement, like as if a mandate isn't still saving people's lives? That's what I'm going to leave it at that, because I know people have talked about this, and it's like no one like Kyrie's going to change their mind, and that's unfortunate. But I would like people to acknowledge this need for people who are pro-vaccine, acknowledge that some of us have really tried to remain patient.
Yeah.
And I think there's a level of responsibility for those of you who are not anti-vax. You expect us to be calm, cool, collected when answering your questions, dealing with your logic. Yet you are not giving us that same respect by actually listening. You're hearing, you're not listening. You're not listening to all this logic. You're not listening to research. No part of this is anything but stubborn. No part of this is anything but contrarian. Because all the questions have been asked at some point. You're refusing to hear them. And so there's this level of responsibility. I get it. It doesn't help people like me yelling. But you folks also have to acknowledge there's been a level of patience. And that same respect hasn't been given back. So then what's a natural reaction to that? To get frustrated. If everything you're saying is falling on deaf ears, no matter what strategy, you tell me, are people not expected to get frustrated? Tell me.
Yeah.
What is the expectation here? Like, we just have to keep listening to your flawed logic and not get frustrated at the repeat reasons we've given you that disprove all your flawed logic? What's the expectation? Voice to the voiceless. I mean, what are we talking about here? You're getting a life-changing, life-saving shot. And not only that, we're doing what we have to end this pandemic that's lasted, and we are not out of it. And you want to give a voice to the voiceless? What about the voiceless that's passed away? There's a whole lot more of those. Whole lot more. Anyway, I'm sorry to get on my soapbox here. I didn't mean to go that long, but this shit matters to me. We have to care about the greater good here. Kyrie Irving is not doing that. A voice for the voiceless. The rest of us calling for a vaccine are being a voice for the voiceless. All those people that passed away, all of our loved ones that we lost to this virus, this pandemic, that's a voice for the voiceless. What Kyrie's doing, that ain't it. It ain't it. Anyway, let's shift gears, because we could talk, like you said earlier, even about a different subject. Like, we could talk about this for 10 episodes, and all it's going to result in is me losing my voice. So I had you on this episode for a reason, Rush, and I felt like you could deliver the best on this. You played yourself. You number one podcast listeners already knew this was coming, baby.
You know the fucking vibes.
Rush, the floor is yours. Make it what you want, baby. You already know. Should I hit the sound as an intro, or?
Oh, for sure. And you know I need that intro. It'll be my entrance
Let's
music.
get it.
So, the next You Played Yourself, it's more of a general You Played Yourself. It's also a place for me to just, put on an asshole hat for a little bit, just because, the Astros, the Houston Astros, 2017 World Series champion Astros,
What it do, baby?
beat the White Sox in the ALDS. It's been about two, and by the way, this is another topic that we could go another 10 episodes for, just because you know how it is. It's been kind of hell on earth being an Astros fan, and it's still whatever, but it's a lot more fun now. The remedy to everything is winning. I will say that, and as long as this window's open, I'm going to enjoy it. Anyway, after the White Sox cut the ALDS series down to 2-1 games, with a 12-6 Game 3 win over the Astros, White Sox relief pitcher, this is the main subject of the You Played Yourself, Ryan Tempura. I will not be pronouncing his name correctly because he's a fucking chump. Ryan Tempura.
It's kind of disrespectful to tempura, man.
It is. Tempura kind of goes hard, man.
Yeah, it does.
But I will say, we'll call him Tempura because his ass got fucking fried.
Love it.
So he was quoted after the game saying the following, quote, "Yeah, they've had a reputation of doing some sketchy stuff over there. We can say it's a little bit of a difference. I think you saw the swings and misses tonight compared to the first two games at Minute Maid." Moment of silence for how fucking stupid that sentence is, because holy shit. Did he not check the box score? Did he not know that even though the White Sox won 12-0 something, that the other something was 6 runs, which was the exact total of runs that we scored in Minute Maid in Game 1. So there really was no difference. Yep. We got about 8 to 10 hits. That game was pretty competitive, and then it got kind of out of hand. And you can tell that the Astros kind of mailed it in. They're like, all right, we're just going to play Game 4. This game is not going our way. There's in no world are you striking out the last 7 Astros in a row after we led the league in lowest K percentage this year. Anyway, Dusty Baker I've had my qualms with Dusty Baker, but anytime something like this comes up, I really fucking love the guy. He's just he has this cool presence, and he's always like spitting some shit like with a toothpick in his mouth.
Yep.
And I'm just always like, man, he's talking facts over here. Anyway, he was quoted as a response saying, quote, "He can say what he wants to say. I had never heard of, I can't even get to this sentence, man. I had never even heard his name before we played the White Sox. I'm not bothered by it. Most of my life, they've been talking stuff on me anyway. Let them talk." That is so incredible coming from a manager in the league, not to mention one of the oldest managers. Like, this dude's a grandpa, man. He's a grandpa, and he's talking cash shit. Cash shit. I love it.
Just so fucking disrespectful.
And you know, part of me, I will say, after that game 3, part of me did feel a weird momentum shift. As that game was playing out, I was like, man, this is really going to be a series. It's going to go 5 games. And then as soon as Tempura got on that podium and said what he said, I'm like, this series is toast. Has he not been watching baseball for the last 2 years?
This series is fried, you mean?
People, yeah, you're right. People had been talking about how, hey, the Astros are good again. Do I need to remind anyone that last year they were 29-31 in that shortened season, and they got 1 fucking game away from the World Series? Like, did people just happen to forget that? We were playing the number 1 seeded Rays. We went down 3-0, and we won 3 straight games, and we had a game 7. We were competitive. That could have swung the other way, and they would have had a below 500 team in the World Series. I would have never expected that. I expected them to
lose. Really would have been mad.
I expected them to lose that wild card series against the Twins. They played horrible all year. October, these guys just turn it on, and they've been doing that since this core has been together. And sure enough, Game 4, the Astros won handedly, 10-1. They teed the fuck off on every single pitcher, including Rodon, who was pumping his chest, hitting his chest, whatever. Correa took his ass deep. And, I mean, who didn't get a hit? Maldonado. These guys clowned him on Twitter because
Maldonado got an RBI.
He got an
RBI too.
He got his first hit. If you give up a hit and an RBI to Maldonado, you are not winning that game. That guy cannot hit.
They had him bunting earlier that at bat.
Yeah. So, and, let's just go over the run production for Ryan Tempura real quick. Game 1 was 6 runs. Game 2 was 9 runs. Game 3 was 6 runs. And Game 4 was 10 runs. The run differential was probably like plus 13 or something insane in one series, man. This offense is crazy. Shout out to them. That game was so satisfying to watch. And also, I was stuck at work, so I was kind of glad I didn't have to really be stressed out. And just for anyone who thinks, hey, maybe there's a possibility that the Astros are cheating again, let me tell you their home and away splits for this series. At home, they had 15 runs. Away, they had 16 runs. At home, they had 20 hits, and away, they had 20 hits. At home, they had 4 doubles, 2 home runs, and 9 walks. And away, they had 4 doubles, 2 home runs, and 9 walks. Literally the most identical the stats could be. It is insane how good this offense is, and I know it pisses people off. And just Yankees fans right now are just punching the air because their 2 least favorite teams are in the ALCS while they're at home. And they might as well rename this to the American League Cheating Series and let these guys cheat, because that would be fucking awesome. Bring the trash cans out. Bring the Apple Watches out. Let's go, baby. Like, I just want people to be so mad, and keep that same energy with the Red Sox. Y'all are so fucking mad about the Astros constantly. We're finally facing the Red Sox, who cheated in 2018 and pretty much handled us pretty well in 2018. And another thing that I really liked about that series victory was just that the Astros were just kind of hugs and handshakes after the game. It was very chill, like another game in July.
Business trip.
Yeah, business trip. It tells me that these guys are like really focused in on what's about to happen, and I think this team is special. And also, related, I hope McCullers is okay, because I don't see us winning a World Series without him. That's gonna be a tough thing to do. But and a reverse you played yourself goes to Carlos Correa. After the game, obviously everyone wants to ask every single Astro. Jose Altuve, classiest guy, would not take the bait. Refused to put down the answer, refused to even address Ryan Tempura, was like, no, we played a good team game. They're a great team, blah, blah, blah. Correa, on the other hand, stepped up, hung his nuts, and was just like...
So, Carlos, this year you've heard from the fans in the stands reminders of 2017. During this series, you heard it from Ryan Tepera, an opponent. Did his words referring to the sign-stealing scandal have an influence on this team?
Disrespectful words with no facts, with nothing to say. We scored 6 runs at home. Then we scored, 9, and then we scored 6 again here. They just happened to score 12. And then you look at our OPS on the road, what's the best in all the big leagues throughout a 162-game season, which we play 81 on the road. Their OPS was a lot higher at home than it was on the road. So, just another kid that needs to know the facts, or, what else needs to do.
Man, I can't stress enough. If I ever run into Jim Crane and I get 3 words, it will be pay Carlos Correa, because this guy is the shit.
Amen.
Oh, and a bonus thing while we're telling people you played yourself, I would like to give an extra you played yourself to the New York Yankees, just because I know they lost the wild card game.
Amen.
If you travel back to the game right before the All-Star break, the New York Yankees were up 5 runs against the Houston Astros. While we were in Houston at Minute Maid Park, they were up 5 runs. The Astros rallied and somehow put up a 6 spot in the bottom of the 9th inning, capped off with the Jose Altuve 3-run walk-off home run. That one game, that home run, is the exact reason why they were not hosting that wild card game. They tie the Red Sox, but they would have had an advantage. Yeah, it's just
that was
it's
the
so
one where,
sweet.
Aaron Judge tried to mock Altuve, right? Like the little
bingo
reference to a buzzer.
Bingo.
And they ripped off Altuve's shirt after he hit a walk-off on him.
Bingo. I mean, and these guys spent all year saying fuck Altuve at every game possible. Especially the Knicks were doing it. People at Knicks games were doing it. People at fucking New York Rangers games were doing it. Like, these guys, Altuve was living so rent free.
Oh, they cheered when he got hit by a pitch, too.
They cheered when he got hit by a pitch, and it's just incredible. And they spent all year cheering against us, and they couldn't even win the wild card game. So get absolutely fucked, Yankees. You played yourself.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
All right. That's a hell of a bow on you played yourself. It's time for who you got and what you feeling. So last episode, you and I made a few picks here. We did talk about Ben Simmons and who he'd play for this coming season. Both of us thought it would be the Sixers. I don't think either one of us thought it would be this soon, but here we are. Maybe he'll still end up getting traded later on, but for right now, it looks like he'll suit up for the Sixers game 1. We played a little round of contender, pretender with a whole bunch of NFL teams. I won't rehash all those, but we're looking pretty good so far. The only one I'll make a note of is we both felt like the Cardinals are pretenders, and they won a big game against the Rams. And they're the last remaining undefeated team, but everyone else we're pretty much on par with.
Yeah, I'd probably go ahead and renege the Browns one too. After you brought up all your points, it kind of they've had 2 losses that were kind of too glaring and not really an anomaly. And if it keeps on that pace, then they're not going to be playing in January. So,
and I think you and I and most people feel like the Chiefs will get it together, but they're 2-3. And
they look pretty shaky.
Is atrocious.
Yeah,
they look real shaky so far. We also made some picks for college football games. We picked the Arkansas-Georgia game. We were right on that. Georgia won handedly. I think they shut out Arkansas, actually, that game. We also picked the Cincinnati at Notre Dame game. We both ended up being right about Cincinnati. They are now number 3 and looking to maybe be the first non-Power 5 team to make the college football playoffs. So time will tell on that. I'll cover that a little bit more here in a little bit. And then we also picked a couple NFL games. We picked Cardinals-Rams. Both of us picked the Rams. We were wrong. The Cardinals still undefeated. And then at the time we picked Raiders-Chargers, and both of us picked the Chargers. The Raiders have since we'll see how they try to make anything out of this season. I can't imagine it happening. But anyway, this episode, I wanted to do a little hypothetical, little quarter season awards type deal. I wanted to get who your pick for your quarter season MVP is. Some candidates to consider, obviously. Kyler Murray, leading the last remaining undefeated team. Justin Herbert is putting up Some crazy numbers for the Chargers. Tom Brady, obviously, defying all age everywhere. Lamar Jackson's had a few big games. They're actually passing the ball, and he's putting up like career highs in passing yards. Aaron Rodgers, or obviously you can pick someone else. Who you got for your quarter season or early MVP candidate?
I honestly like all your choices. Obviously, the fan of the sport in me really wants someone new. Seeing Kyler or Herbert or even Lamar's gotten one. Like Kyler or Herbert, that's who I would really want to win. My kind of dark horse pick would probably be Matt Stafford. I think he's putting up really great numbers, and Cooper Kupp's having a crazy year. And he has a lot of weapons there, and he's just slinging the ball, and they're winning games, which is not something he used to do in Detroit. He was slinging the ball and going 4-12. So no one's going to pick an MVP on that team.
It's pretty much as advertised in that scenario.
Yeah.
Like Sean McVay, everybody thought once he gets a quarterback, he's going to be much better.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Same with Stafford. Once he gets a team, he'll be much better, and they're proving that correct.
And look at Goff. Like, he just went to Detroit and just kind of pooped, teams still pooping their pants.
Exactly.
Also, real quick, I lament saying this, but I won't be mad if Brady wins an MVP this year, just because he's like the old guy, and I've since become a fan, but I hope I'm wrong. Like, I wouldn't be mad.
They do love a narrative.
Yeah.
Like, the MVP is a big time narrative
For sure.
award, and Tom Brady would be a cool story at the end of his year.
No doubt.
Wouldn't be a bad pick, obviously. I mean, he's putting up crazy numbers for the Bucks.
Yeah, he's balling.
I think my pick is probably Herbert. It's weird, but it's kind of been a trend. Like in the second year, I think that's when Lamar won his MVP and Mahomes.
Yep.
So kind of going off of that, Herbert's taken a major step, and kudos to them. They invested in the offensive line, and it's paid dividends for the Chargers. Okay. Give me your team to beat in the AFC and your team to beat in the NFC. So we'll kind of rapid fire this. Your team to beat when it's all said and done after what you've seen so far. In the AFC, some teams to consider: the Bills, Chargers, maybe the Chiefs, the Browns, if you feel that way. Over in the NFC, you got the Bucks, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Packers. Also, the Cowboys are looking pretty good. Knock on wood, obviously.
Look at you.
They're doomed to disappoint me eventually, but I have to try to at least
be a fan.
Put real teams into consideration, because so far they are doing really well. So, who you got for?
Yeah, they're looking nice.
The teams you're looking at of AFC. Give me one in the AFC, one in the NFC.
I guess I'll get. All right, so my early thought process was basically trying to predict this AFC and NFC championship game. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, but I'll pick the winner instead of doing that. I'm gonna say the AFC championship is gonna be the Bills over the Chiefs. I like that pick. I'm like really fascinated with the way the Bills play, and just it's fun, man. They're fun. And also, their fans have an insane reputation, and I would love to see what Bills Mafia does on the internet if the Bills gets the Super Bowl. Anyway, we're talking really early, and then for the NFC, I'm gonna go with like the Rams over the Bucks.
Okay,
is what I like. I really like the Rams. I kind of want to keep riding them out. I think that roster is just like top to bottom awesome if they stay healthy, get some pieces back. I think they're going to be legit. That defense is nails. They still got Aaron Donald. Like, no one's even talking about the guy, and he's still destroying D-line. So, those are my picks. Bills, Rams, Super Bowl, whatever, man. Let's do it. Let's do something new.
So I'm going to go – I like your NFC picks. Maybe I would pick Bucks over Rams, but – so far, I really like those two teams, just the makeup of them. I think right now the Bucks are depleted in the secondary, but top to bottom, their rosters are pretty impressive.
For sure.
So I would say probably the Bucks if I had to pick the NFC. And then AFC, I'll go with the Chargers. I really like what I see out of them. So I think they can
very nice.
Only improve. And I guess for their sake, it'd be cool because they'd get a home game in the Super Bowl if they happen to make that. But obviously it's way early. It's just more of a contender thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. My other thing is I know you're not a big college football guy, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I promised I'd kind of circle back to this also. Can Cincinnati make the college football playoff, and will they? So So currently the Bearcats are ranked number 3 in the AP poll, and I believe also in the coaches poll. They are currently second in the nation in scoring defense, 12.2 points per game. I say, yes, they can make the college football playoff, but I think they need help to ensure it happens. Not necessarily that it won't happen otherwise, but I think if you're a Bearcats fan, you got to still hope for these things to basically give the committee no reason to keep them out. You Bearcats fans have to remember this has not been done before. So there does need to be no doubt. And I mean, it's easier said than done, but can't take everything personal that's said. They're going to default to Power 5 schools. But if you get certain things to help you out, I think it can make it so that the odds increase. Obviously, we're assuming in this scenario, of course, over anything that Cincinnati has to win out. And I think they actually should win out impressively. So that's running up the score a little bit. You got to do what you got to do. But here's the recipe in my mind. First of all, it's Cincinnati. You need Notre Dame to keep winning. That's the victory you're hanging your hat on. They need to keep looking good. They had a scare against Virginia Tech. They escaped it. Need them to continue. Also, another team that they would need to keep winning is SMU to boost their resume. That would be big for them. The other thing, I think you need something like Oklahoma losing. That comeback against Texas in the Red River Showdown was brutal, but OU losing and them being out of the college football playoff contention, they're the Big 12's basically only hope. So if they lose, I would think a Big 12 team in order to get in needs to be undefeated. So if you get them to lose, that would be a huge help. Root for Georgia to beat Alabama in the SEC championship. You want Georgia to just win out. The last thing you want is Alabama making it with one loss in the SEC championship game, which they're, by the way, still in the driver's seat in to do. But if Bama beats Georgia in the SEC championship game, that committee is going to put both those teams right back in the playoff. No doubt about it. Because in that scenario, they'll each have one loss and a very impressive resume. So in order to avoid that, I think if Georgia hands Alabama their second loss, Alabama's out of contention in the playoff. So under that scenario, you get Georgia to win out and Oklahoma slips up. That leaves Georgia in and your potential Big Ten champion. And then you have 2 spots for the committee to try to find a reason not to put Cincinnati in. So you get one or both of those things, that increases your chance big time. The teams in Cincinnati's way, just kind of wrapping things up, an undefeated Oklahoma, if they end up undefeated, that is not good news for Cincinnati. Also, a one-loss Big Ten team, like a second Big Ten team. So in that scenario, maybe Ohio State or Penn State plays an undefeated Iowa in the Big Ten championship. Ohio State or Penn State beats Iowa, so they each finish with one loss. The committee could conceivably put 2 Big Ten teams in. Hasn't happened before. They've only done it with SEC teams, but the Big Ten looks pretty good. And if you aren't aware, the Big Ten has a whole bunch of teams in the top 10 right now. So it's not outrageous to think of that. Teams in Cincinnati's way: an undefeated Oklahoma, a second Big Ten team with one loss, Alabama running the rest of the table after their slip up against Texas A&M, and then the other one would be Oregon, a one-loss Oregon. They have a big victory in Columbus against Ohio State. If they keep winning and win the Pac-12 convincingly, they could potentially be in the way too. So all those teams kind of in the way. It's not to say Cincinnati can't get in. I hope they do. I want to see it happen. If we strongly feel Georgia's going to run away with it, let's at least give a chance to one of these non-Power 5 schools and see what happens. All that being said, I wanted to kind of go over that recipe I've been talking about with some friends that are Cincinnati fans. I think that's what you hope for if you're a Bearcats fan. And special shout out to their coach, Luke Fickell. Go Bucks, baby.
I knew you were going to throw that in.
You got anything to add to that? I know you're a big college football expert.
My input is I hope that after you did all this work and did this like amazing layout, I hope they don't lose next week, or I guess in a few days, because that would just be like, all right, fuck me, right?
Yeah. Which, I mean, weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati is by far the most impressive team in the American. There's a reason they're going to be invited with your alma mater, Go Cougs.
Go Cougs, baby.
The Big 12 in the future. So they're a hell of a program. Their defense is great. They have a Heisman contender quarterback in Ritter. So they have all the recipe to get in. The one thing holding them back is obviously their conference right now.
Right.
But I think this is a potential year where it could really happen.
Yeah.
We'll see if they find a reason to leave them out. I hope they don't. I hope they get their chance because I think they could. It's worth it. Like you talk about last year, I mean, I thought last year was a perfect opportunity. Like, it was so obvious Alabama was the best team. If they're going to beat the shit out of every team they play, why not let them beat the shit out of, like, a non-Power 5 team that had a good resume to get in? And last year, that was Cincinnati too, but we'll see what happens as it unfolds. All right, let's move on to what you feeling. What you feeling lately, man?
I know, I don't know, like 4 or 5 episodes ago when I was on in the summer, I was a big advocate of the summer, and, you know. Oh, yeah. And, but I guess I can also say I'm a big Team Cozy advocate. So Houston's going to be getting our first cold front of the year, which for us, don't laugh, man, which for us means we will be dipping below 60 degrees. All right. So, yeah. So, you know, what this means for me is I will be eating pho full time. I'm going to be wearing hoodies the second the temperature dips below 70 degrees. And I will be going to my local coffee shop and getting a hot I'm just kidding, man.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Amen.
Iced coffee,
baby.
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee, you're out.
Even when it's cold. Also, I'm feeling my rewatch of Succession. The new season premieres this weekend.
Yeah.
So, and
pumped.
I felt like it was like, 2 years since we've seen the last episode air, and I was like, I don't remember shit, man. So I went ahead and started rewatching it. I'm actually kind of like pushing it because I still have like 6 or 7 episodes left, so I might need to wait a couple of days to watch the new episode, which I don't care. I'm pretty patient these days, but you know, I'm actually amped for consuming new media for the first time with season 3 on the way.
For sure.
And you'll like this. But next weekend, St. John's actually in Houston, so we'll be going to see. We'll be seeing St. John, and this is an artist. You know, after all the years of me putting on my family to music and putting all these people on, this is one artist that my dog Premal has put me onto. So that's pretty lit. That's pretty lit. Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I even knew that. Let's go. I love it.
Yeah, man. So yeah. Me and the fam are going, so
I'm trying to see him too. He's coming to Cleveland, so I'm jelly, man.
Yeah,
it'll be so much fun.
Should be a good time.
I was like trying to beg some people to go with me. One of my buddies I think is gonna go with me, but I'm seriously prepared to just go up by myself. I've never gone to a concert by myself, but
do it, man.
He's
They're
someone
fun.
that's on my bucket list. Just love it.
Yeah,
love his music.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I dig it, man. That's a huge honor for me. Yeah, you're my music godfather, basically. All my influence directly. The guy directly responsible is my co-host here, my big cousin, my big bro. So that's a huge moment for me.
Yeah.
Speaking of huge moments, what I'm feeling is I got to officiate another wedding this past week, which is the biggest honor for me. You know, one of the greatest honors of my life is that I've got to marry now 3 couples that I love, and a 4th one is next year. So hit your boy up if you're in Ohio and trying to get an officiant that pretends to know what he's doing at least. But a huge honor for me, and had a good time at this wedding of close friend. Shout out my peoples, Liz and Nick. They're on their honeymoon right now, but thanks for the huge honor.
That's sick.
And the other couples that have trusted me with it. Yeah, it's a big deal for me. But anyway, you know how we like to wrap up each show, you number 1 podcast listeners. We like to wrap up each episode of Prem Brulee with too much sense, so let's hit that intro, baby. Okay, my too much sense for this episode is you good people out there, don't get tired of being a good person to others. No matter what. If you get this consideration you show others reciprocated or not, don't let the good be transactional. The world needs good people, and don't let whether they reciprocate or not deter you from being the good person you are. Keep being good. The world needs it, baby.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir. Rush, thank you so much for being on here.
Always, man.
Being ignorant with me.
Always.
Go Stros, baby.
Go Stros.
As we head into the ALCS.
Stros in 6.
I know y'all are mad. Hey, let's get it.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, you played yourself last episode with you out here jinxing shit, but I'm gonna allow it. We'll see if it works out.
Hey, I said Stros in 5. I was saying Stros in 5, but now with the McCullers news, I had to downgrade it to Stros in 6. So
all right,
I'm sensible.
All right, I hope you're right. All right. Go Stros, baby.
Let's go.
You number 1 podcast listeners, can't thank you enough. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend to tell a friend. We appreciate you. This has been another edition of the number 1 podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee. For my big bro, Roshan Bot, I'm Premal Bot. We will talk to you next episode.
Yes, sir.
Just another kid that needs to know the facts or, you know, what else needs to do.